What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today we're going to be looking at the effectiveness of both jump shotting and drop shotting in Black Ops 3. Let's get into it. Alright guys, this is going to be a relatively quick one. First, I just want to go over what exactly jump shotting and drop shotting are for those of you that might be new to the Call of Duty series, because for some people they might not be familiar with those terms. So a drop shot is when you try to lay down in the middle of a face-to-face gunfight with an enemy in order to try and limit the size of the target that you're presenting to them, as well as just make yourself slightly harder to hit by moving in a downward direction that they don't typically expect. A jump shot, on the other hand, is kind of the opposite. It's where you jump up in the air trying to jump over their sights and shoot them at the same time. The jump shots are most often used when you're coming around a corner and you know an enemy's going to be there, or you expect an enemy to be there. If you jump around that corner, they don't usually expect you to be jumping at that height, and their sights won't be off, and it'll take them a while to adjust. So let's have a look at what the drop shot looks like from the enemy's perspective if you try to do a drop shot on them. Obviously, it's very slow and very clunky. You go into crouch for a little while, and you actually pause when you're in crouch, and then you finally go down to prone. And that's all the time in the world for the enemy to be able to kill you in that situation. So for Black Ops 3, I would say drop shotting is nearly dead. I mean, it still could help you in some situations. If you come face to face with an enemy, neither of you have cover, it is possible that it could help you out. I'm not saying it's completely useless and should never be attempted, but to be honest, I would say it's not something that you can rely on in Black Ops 3. I would definitely not rely on the drop shots, especially because a lot of the times, especially when you just crouch initially and then you pause there, you'll end up giving your enemy just a free headshot because most people aim kind of center of mass, and then when you crouch, that center of mass is now your head. As for the jump shots, they seem to be just as effective, if not a whole lot more effective than they were in Black Ops 2. So in Black Ops 2, for those of you that played it, jump shots were very effective, and they didn't even have thrust jumping in Black Ops 2. That's the crazy thing. You can jump ridiculously high. If you really look at it, when you jump, your waist goes like all the way up to your head level, which is a little bit unrealistic, but hey, it's the way the mechanics work, and we can take advantage of them to be successful against our enemies. So the key thing to know with the jump shots is they're most effectively used when you're jumping around a corner or moving in some way laterally towards your enemy. It doesn't really do much for you if you jump straight towards your enemy, because at that point you're just making yourself a larger target to hit as you're coming closer, and he just has to slightly adjust his aim upwards to hit you. So it's not really effective that way, but if you're moving laterally at all, like side to side to your enemy, jump shots can be amazing. And to make these jump shots just a little bit better, you can now use the thrusting abilities to improve the effectiveness of your jump shots. So you can jump much higher and you can jump much farther with the thrust jumping. So what I like to do, even when I'm not using my SCUF controller, I'll be honest, I am using a SCUF controller, so it makes it a whole lot easier for me. But even without a SCUF controller, if you simply double tap the X button, you don't have to tap and hold to thrust or anything, just do a little double tap as you jump around the corner towards an enemy, you'll jump about twice as far as you would with a single tap of that jump button. So it doesn't take much of a thrust to really launch your character that much further. So I find that to be very effective if you don't have a SCUF controller. If you do have a SCUF controller, or you're confident enough in your jumping abilities while shooting, I recommend jumping and then constantly tapping the X button. This will keep you on kind of a level plane, which makes it a lot easier to shoot your enemy because you're not moving up and down too much. You don't have to adjust your aim up and down too much. It'll like pop you up in the air, keep you at a level plane, and allow you to stay on target. I really like doing that over pressing the X button twice and just holding it so you thrust all the way up to the maximum altitude and then back down again. I find it's much more effective to tap that X button or that jump button repeatedly as you're moving laterally to your enemy. One last thing I wanted to point out is something that a lot of people kind of underestimate when it comes to like jump shotting and drop shotting. There is a new mechanic. Well, it's not really all that new. It was actually implemented in Ghost, but it works extremely effectively in Black Ops 3 because it's slightly different, and that is the slide mechanic to challenge your enemy in a gunfight. Especially with shotguns and SMGs when you're hip firing, this works incredibly well. Because as soon as you go to aim down sight in the middle of a slide, it will actually stop your slide. That's actually one great way to stop your slide if you want to, just aim down sight. But if you're hip firing, you can close that distance between you and your enemies very quickly. It's very jarring for them. It's hard for them to stay on target because you move very rapidly when you move into a slide. If you're coming around a corner and you slide around a corner, it can be very difficult to track as well because you come around there that much faster. So there you have it. That's my comparison between the jump shots, the drop shots, as well as the slide. I would say pretty much never use the drop shot. The drop shot isn't going to help you very often in this game. Jump shots are extremely effective, even more so than they were in Black Ops 2. And don't forget to use that slide, especially when you're using shotguns or hip-firing SMGs. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.
Can confirm.